I'm Stephen Devereaux. I'm 20 years old and I suffer from a traumatic brain injury.
How many concussions have you had?
My first concussion was when I was 14 years old. I've been playing hockey since I was a little kid and uh, I got knocked out on the ice. So that was the first one. It kind of started all the other ones. Probably had right around 10 concussions. So that's really a big cause of traumatic brain injuries is constant hits to the head.
When were you diagnosed with a TBI?
I was diagnosed about a year ago after I got into a car accident. I don't really remember much from the accident. Probably 3 or 4 days later, um, I had a hard time walking, and I don't really remember really anything that happened from it.
The story from his mother.
Sitting here, and Stephen called me and told me that he was in a car accident and that he was at Concord Hospital. So he sounded fine on the phone. So when I went up there, I was kind of not nervous until I walked in and I realized he was not so okay. Just laying on the gurney in a neck brace, kind of repeating the same thing over and over again. They did a bunch of different tests. They said he had a traumatic brain injury. This was his third or fourth concussion. 3 of them were from sports. So even though that this impact on his head was very minimal, the car damage was minimal, he was in the hospital for a week, confused, saying the same thing over and over again, kind of regressed in his age. He was acting like a toddler.
Has Stephen made a full recovery, or will he ever?
Finally, after 3 or 4 days, he um, kind of came out of it, was able to walk gradually, was discharged home, having a lot of memory problems. He's in the rehab outpatient program right now, and he is almost made a full recovery. They do anticipate that he will have a full recovery, but it can take up to a year. Still having a problem with reading a little bit. The forgetfulness is pretty much gone, and he's doing better.
Is there any way to treat a TBI?
There's no actual medications to treat TBI, but there's plenty of steps you can do, like going to speech therapy, physical therapy.
What are you doing to help your TBI?
Right now, I go to speech therapy. I was going to go to physical therapy, but they didn't think it was worth it. But speech therapy more works on my help with memory because I have like bad memory problems. I have a tough time concentrating, and that all happened from the last concussion, from the last accident.
Has anything changed in your day-to-day life?
Yeah, one of the biggest things was I was attending college when the accident happened, and now, since my memory and my reading abilities have gone down from the traumatic brain injury, I'm no longer able to do that. As well as all contact sports are over. I played 3 contact sports all year round, and none of them will ever be able to play again because of the traumatic brain injury.
Unfortunately, because of Stephen's accident that occurred last year, he can no longer play the sports that he loves, hockey and lacrosse. Although this is unfortunate, having played since he was young, he knows that it's for the best, seeing how extremely serious this injury actually was. What advice would you give to someone with a TBI?
Anyone advice that has either concussions or even concussion syndromes, I'd say that take them seriously. One concussion is a lot more serious than you think. If you're just playing through it and think that it's a good idea that you're going to be able to work through it, you're definitely wrong. I used to play through many concussions and wouldn't even think about it, but it gets to a point where you have a hard time living daily life, just getting up every day, not knowing where you are sometimes, and it gets pretty serious. So that's definitely one thing I'd tell people who either play contact sports or really have any type of concussion syndrome.